Guyanese, another weekend is here, and yes, another challenge to your decision to stay home, especially when some of you would have been liming with your friends, taking a visit to the barbershop or salon, or just hanging on the corner. Yesterday, Dr. Basir shared his thoughts with you. To reinforce his message to our male population, I have invited Mr. Diego Alfonzo, Senior Gender Affairs Officer at the Ministry of Social Protection, to have another conversation with you. Mr. Alfonzo?
Thank you, Dr. Hamilton. As mentioned, I am Diego Alfonzo, Senior Gender Affairs Officer within the Gender Affairs Bureau of the Ministry of Social Protection. Greetings to you all, our viewers and listeners. I especially want to encourage you, our men and young men, to let's recognize and pay heed to what the facts and figures are telling us. That males are contracting COVID-19 even more. But why? Firstly, let's remember that COVID-19 is no respecter of gender or anyone for that matter. Secondly, our macho-ness does not somehow miraculously make us immune to the virus. As a matter of fact, in some instances, we as men are more vulnerable to contracting the virus because of the nature of what we are involved in daily as men, and with the people and places we frequent on a daily basis. Thirdly, let us recognize and appreciate that wearing a mask correctly, physical distancing, and regular hand washing does not make us less macho or less of a man. As a matter of fact, it demonstrates that we are responsible men and that we are being excellent role models to those observing us as men. Let's do this for the love of our children, our partners, and society in general. Picture this scenario: a man not adhering to the guidelines, but somehow he manages to survive COVID-19. Maybe, as we say, by a fluke, or he's just lucky, or by the grace of God. But think of this: others may have been observing and following the example of him not adhering to the guidelines, and then contract the virus. It may be one of his own children or a loved one. That would be sad. I am not so sure that's what any right-thinking man would desire to happen. So, my brethren, as we Guyanese would say, big up yourself and wear your mask. Big up yourself and do the physical distancing. Big up yourself and wash your hands regularly. Big up yourself and let's conquer COVID-19 together as macho men. What's it going to be?
Thank you, Mr. Alfonso. Now guys, Dr. Basir and Mr. Alfonso are pleading with you to stop with the macho attitude and to think of your children whose future depends on your actions. Don't mess with your child's future. I know this is not what you want to do. So meditate a little on that. Now for the global report. Globally, the statistics according to WHO are as follows. The total number of cases is 4,893,186, with 323,256 deaths. In the region of the Americas, the total number of cases is 2,166,003, with 128,649 deaths. The situation in Guyana is as follows. Of the 37 tests, there were no new cases, so the number of confirmed cases remains at 127. However, a reminder to you not to take this for granted. To date, the total number of persons tested is 1,366, with the total number of negative cases being 1,239. We currently have 57 persons that have recovered, 60 active cases in institutional isolation, 3 patients in the COVID-19 ICU, and the number of COVID deaths remains at 10. The figure that you can see on your screen in the pie chart is the breakdown of male to female, with 43% of cases being females and 57% males. Every male that is infected can potentially infect his entire household. Fellow Guyanese, at the time when the curfew was instituted, there were only 5 regions with positive cases. Since then, another 2 regions have been added to this list. The ministry remains concerned with the increased cases seen, especially in Region 7, Kayuni-Mazaruni, taking into consideration that the mining communities have a lot of traffic, and with this movement, we can have a wider spread of this disease. So we urge residents to follow the guidelines provided. It is important that if you have been in contact with a positive case, that you make contact with the hotline. And if contacted, please provide the team with accurate information. The mobile unit will continue to visit the different locations across the country. Our next scheduled visits are to Cornelia Ida in Region 3 and Diamond in Region number 4. We are pleased to announce that the mobile team is currently at Le Parfait Harmony and will extend the services for 1 more day, which is tomorrow, Saturday the 23rd of May, 2020. My fellow Guyanese, I must say thank you to those of you who are following the guidelines by observing the curfew. To those of you who are still not on board, I urge you to reconsider, because COVID-19 is everybody's responsibility. As we enter this weekend, let us invest the time in our families by participating in activities that will maintain their safety. Let this be our act of love. Thank you.